My wife went live on Instagram from a tropical vacation rating poolside guys while I thought she was visiting her sick sister. Her followers were encouraging her to approach the tens while I was home working overtime to pay for her sister's medical bills. I called the sister who said I'm perfectly healthy. I haven't seen Lisa in months. I'm a 35-year-old mechanical engineer, and until 2 weeks ago, I thought my wife was the most caring and trustworthy person I'd ever met. My wife Lisa and I have been married for 7 years, together for 10. We met in college through mutual friends and bonded over our shared values about family loyalty and supporting each other through difficult times. Lisa works as a social media coordinator for a lifestyle brand, which means she's always been active on Instagram and other platforms as part of her job. Lisa has a younger sister named Rachel who lives about 6 hours away in another state. Rachel has always been the more adventurous and impulsive sister, while Lisa was the responsible one who stayed close to family and built a stable career. The sisters have always been close, and Lisa has often talked about how important it is to be there for family when they need you most. 3 months ago, Rachel called Lisa crying about some serious health issues she'd been experiencing. According to Lisa, Rachel had been having mysterious symptoms that doctors couldn't diagnose, and she was going through a series of expensive tests and specialist appointments to figure out what was wrong. Rachel was apparently struggling financially due to the medical costs and time off work. Lisa was devastated by her sister's situation and immediately wanted to help however she could. She suggested that Rachel come stay with us during her treatment, but Rachel said she was more comfortable staying near her own doctors and support system. Lisa started sending Rachel money regularly to help with medical expenses and offered to visit whenever Rachel needed emotional support. The financial support for Rachel's medical bills put a strain on our budget, but I supported Lisa's decision to help her sister. We dipped into our vacation savings and I started working overtime to cover the additional expenses. Lisa was grateful for my understanding and said it meant everything to her that I was willing to sacrifice for her family. About 6 weeks ago, Rachel's condition apparently worsened, and she asked Lisa to come stay with her for an extended period. Lisa said Rachel was scared about some upcoming procedures and needed someone she trusted to help her navigate the medical system and provide emotional support during recovery. Lisa took 2 weeks off work using her vacation time and some unpaid leave. She said she didn't know exactly how long she'd need to stay with Rachel, but that she couldn't abandon her sister during such a frightening time. I encouraged Lisa to take whatever time she needed and promised to handle everything at home while she was gone. The night before Lisa left, she was packing and seemed excited about the trip in a way that surprised me. When I commented that she seemed upbeat for someone going to help a sick family member, Lisa said she was trying to stay positive for Rachel's sake and that maintaining good energy was important for supporting someone through a health crisis. Lisa drove to Rachel's city on a Friday morning, texting me updates throughout the journey. She sent photos of highway rest stops and her car dashboard, keeping me informed about her arrival time. When she got to Rachel's place that evening, she called to let me know she'd arrived safely and that Rachel was grateful to have her there. Over the weekend, Lisa sent me occasional updates about Rachel's condition and their activities. She said they were mostly staying in and watching movies, with some light walks when Rachel felt up to it. Lisa sent a few photos of home-cooked meals she was making for Rachel and some selfies of them together looking relaxed and happy. The photos of Rachel confused me because she looked healthier and more energetic than I'd expected for someone going through serious medical issues. When I mentioned this to Lisa, she said Rachel was having a good day and that the emotional support was already helping her feel better. By the middle of the first week, Lisa's communication became less frequent. She'd text me good morning and good night messages, but the detailed updates about Rachel's condition stopped. When I called to check in, Lisa would give brief answers and say she was busy helping Rachel with various appointments and tasks. I started feeling disconnected from Lisa's experience helping her sister, but I figured she was probably exhausted from caregiving and didn't have energy for long conversations. I continued working overtime to maintain our finances while she was away, and I handled all the household responsibilities she normally shared. 10 days into Lisa's trip, one of my coworkers mentioned seeing my wife on Instagram posting from what looked like a tropical vacation. I was confused because Lisa was supposed to be helping her sick sister, not vacationing. I told my coworker he must have been looking at old photos or someone else's account. But the comment bothered me enough that I decided to check Lisa's Instagram account that evening. What I found completely blindsided me. Lisa had been posting stories and live videos from what was clearly a luxury resort vacation, not a caregiving trip to help her sick sister. The posts showed Lisa at pool parties, beach bars, and resort restaurants. She was wearing bikinis and summer dresses that she'd never packed when I watched her prepare for the supposed medical support trip. The geotags on her post showed she was at a tropical resort about 500 miles away from where Rachel lived. But the posts themselves weren't even the worst part. Lisa had been doing Instagram live sessions where she was rating the attractiveness of men at the resort. I watched in horror as she commentated on guys walking by the pool, giving them numerical ratings and responding to comments from her followers. "Okay girls, here comes another one," Lisa would say, pointing her phone toward some unsuspecting man. "I'm thinking this guy is definitely an 8. Great shoulders, nice tan. What do you think?" Her followers would respond with fire emojis and comments like "go talk to him." "And you deserve some fun." In one particularly devastating live stream, Lisa was sitting at a beach bar rating men and taking requests from viewers. Someone asked if any of the guys were more attractive than her husband, and Lisa laughed and said, "Let's just say I'm remembering what it feels like to appreciate male beauty. Sometimes you forget what's out there when you're stuck in the same routine." The comments from her followers were encouraging her behavior and treating it like entertainment. People were telling her she looked amazing, that she deserved to have fun, and that rating attractive men was harmless. Some were even suggesting she should approach the guys she rated highest. I spent hours going through Lisa's recent posts and stories, trying to understand what was happening. The timeline showed she'd been at the resort for the entire time she was supposed to be helping Rachel. Every day I'd been working overtime and worrying about her sister's health. Lisa had been lounging by pools and rating strangers for social media content. The financial aspect made everything worse. I checked our credit card statements and found charges for flights, resort accommodations, spa treatments, and expensive restaurants. Lisa had been using our joint account to fund her secret vacation while I'd been sending money to support her allegedly sick sister. I called Lisa immediately after discovering the posts. She answered sounding relaxed and happy, with beach sounds in the background. "Hey babe, how's everything at home?" "Lisa, where are you right now?" There was a pause. "I'm with Rachel, why?" "Are you sure about that?" "Because your Instagram shows you at a tropical resort rating random men for your followers." The silence that followed was deafening. Finally, Lisa said, "You're stalking my social media while I'm trying to help my sister? I'm trying to understand why you're on vacation when you told me you were providing medical support to Rachel." Lisa started crying and said the situation was complicated. She said Rachel had suggested they take a short trip together as part of her recovery process, and that the change of scenery was helping Rachel feel better. She said the Instagram posts were just her way of staying positive during a difficult time. "So Rachel is with you at this resort?" Another pause. "She's resting in the room right now. The doctors said travel might be good for her mental health." I asked Lisa to put Rachel on the phone so I could check on her condition. Lisa said Rachel was sleeping and couldn't be disturbed, but that she'd have Rachel call me later. That call never came. The next day, I decided to call Rachel directly to check on her health and find out what was really happening. Rachel answered immediately and sounded completely normal and healthy. "Hey Marcus. How are things going? I'm calling to check on how you're feeling. Lisa said you've been dealing with some serious medical issues." Rachel sounded confused. "Medical issues? I'm fine. Why would Lisa say I was sick?" My heart sank. "Rachel, where is Lisa right now?" "I have no idea. I haven't talked to her in weeks. I thought she was at home with you." I explained to Rachel that Lisa had told me she was staying with her to provide medical support, and that I'd been sending money to help with medical expenses. Rachel was shocked and said she'd never asked for financial help and hadn't been experiencing any health problems. "Marcus, I don't know what's going on, but Lisa isn't here and never has been. I've been working my normal schedule and feeling fine." I hung up and immediately called Lisa back. This time I was angry and didn't try to hide it. "Lisa, I just talked to Rachel. She's not sick, she's not with you, and she has no idea where you are. You've been lying to me for 2 weeks while spending our money on a secret vacation." Lisa broke down and admitted that she'd made up the story about Rachel being sick. She said she'd been feeling trapped in our routine and had wanted to take a solo vacation to rediscover herself. She said she'd been planning to tell me the truth when she got back. "You made up a story about your sister having a medical crisis so you could go on vacation and rate attractive men on Instagram?" Lisa said the Instagram content was just entertainment for her followers and that she hadn't actually approached any of the men she'd rated. She said I was overreacting to harmless social media content that was part of her job in digital marketing. "Lisa, you lied about a family medical emergency, stole thousands of dollars from our joint account, and spent 2 weeks publicly rating other men while I worked overtime to pay for your fake sister's medical bills." Lisa tried to minimize the situation by saying she'd pay back the money and that the Instagram posts were just meant to be fun content. She said she'd never intended to hurt me and that I was making the situation sound worse than it really was. I told Lisa not to bother coming home and that I'd be filing for divorce. She immediately started backtracking and begging for forgiveness, saying she'd made a terrible mistake and would do anything to save our marriage. But the damage was done. Lisa had created an elaborate lie about a family medical crisis to justify stealing money for a secret vacation. She'd spent 2 weeks publicly rating other men while I sacrificed financially and emotionally to support what I thought was a family emergency. I contacted a divorce attorney and gathered evidence of Lisa's deception, including screenshots of all her vacation posts and the credit card charges. I also documented her lies about Rachel's condition and the money she'd taken under false pretenses. Lisa tried to salvage the situation by claiming she'd been having a mental health crisis and that the vacation was her way of dealing with anxiety about our marriage. She said the Instagram content was just her way of feeling attractive and confident again. The divorce proceedings have been straightforward since Lisa's deception was so well documented. She's tried to argue that she deserves half our assets despite using marital funds for her secret vacation, but her attorney has advised her to accept a minimal settlement given the evidence of financial deception. Lisa's social media following has actually grown since the story became public, with people praising her for living her truth and prioritizing her own needs. She's been posting about self-care and female empowerment, framing her deception as a journey of self-discovery. But I keep coming back to the fact that Lisa was willing to invent a family medical crisis to justify stealing money for a vacation. The casual way she rated other men while I was home working overtime to support her lies showed me exactly how much respect she had for our marriage. So Reddit, was I wrong to divorce Lisa over her elaborate vacation deception? Should I have been more understanding about her need for personal space and self-discovery? Or was I right to end a marriage with someone who could lie so extensively about something so serious? Update: thank you to everyone who responded with support and shared similar experiences with financial deception in relationships. Your comments helped me feel confident that I'd made the right decision. Lisa found this post 3 days ago and called me absolutely livid. She said I was destroying her reputation and making her look like a sociopath when she just made some poor choices while dealing with personal stress. She accused me of being vindictive and trying to ruin her career in social media. The conversation escalated when she said, "You're acting like I committed some major crime when all I did was take a vacation." Lots of couples have problems with communication and spending, but they work through them instead of running to the internet for validation. I reminded her that she'd invented a family medical emergency and stolen thousands of dollars while I worked overtime to support her fake crisis. She said I was exaggerating the situation and that the money issue could have been resolved if I'd been willing to discuss it maturely. Two significant developments since then. First, Lisa's employer found out about her deception when someone forwarded them my post. They'd approved her time off specifically for a family medical emergency, and using that leave for a secret vacation violated company policy. She was terminated for misrepresenting her circumstances. Second, several of Lisa's followers contacted me after recognizing the story. They said Lisa had been doing Rate the Men content for months as part of what she called her Appreciation for Male Aesthetics series. Some of them had been encouraging her to approach the men she rated highly and were disappointed when she said she was married. Lisa has been posting about cancel culture and how social media mobs destroy women who dare to live authentically. She's gained new followers who see her as a victim of an controlling husband, but she's also lost her job and most of her real-world relationships. The divorce was finalized last week. Lisa received minimal assets since her financial deception was clearly documented, and she's responsible for paying back the money she spent on the vacation. She's been struggling financially since losing her job and has moved back in with her parents. "I'm doing much better now. I've been able to rebuild my savings without supporting Lisa's expensive lifestyle, and I've started dating someone who values honesty and shared financial responsibility. It's refreshing to be with someone who handles stress through communication rather than elaborate deception. Thanks again for all the support. This experience taught me that someone who can lie about a family medical emergency will lie about anything, and that financial trust is just as important as emotional trust in a marriage."